this week's Rebel Run Sports Show. Do not adjust your monitors or anything. This is not John over here. John is out.
I'm not that big.
No. I am glad to be joined by West Springfield head coach Jason Eldridge.
Hello.
Dridge, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. Moving sucks.
Moving is the worst.
That a little bit of talk we had before we started.
Yeah, that's right. Please don't move if you can avoid it.
I'll start this the way I'll be starting it for a long time. Support public schools. It's important.
Please, we all need
Support public schools.
Yep.
So we're into the summer. Obviously, football is coming quick.
Yep.
We've done some stuff to wrap up for lacrosse season. Just a couple of things we had left on the table are players of the year. Jackson Miller from Woodson, player of the year, guys lacrosse. 50 goals, 56 assists, but that guy, when it mattered in that run to the state title, he was unbelievable. Jackson Miller and another guy who was one of the 5 finalists was on his team as well, Bobby Solomon. 79 goals, 31 assists. That dude is ridiculous, and he's coming back again. So, yeah, people are in trouble with Woodson next year.
That's tough. Let's hope they don't play football.
Yeah, right. Our best duo of the year, I had to go to Riverside, Taylor Musa and Daniel Maltz. Taylor Musa, 84 goals, 38 assists. Daniel Maltz, 48 goals, 50 assists. Those dudes are unbelievable. Undefeated, state title. They're only sophomores. They'll be back.
Wow.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. Taylor Musa is committed to Colgate. Maltz, I think, is committed to Maryland. I mean, they're ridiculous. On the girls' side, horribly tough decision.
Looks like it.
There were so many people that in that group. I mean, the 5 that we had remaining were ridiculous. Man, Elizabeth Murphy, it's unbelievable. It's hard to pick against her. She had 136 goals, 33 assists. She led the area in goal scoring.
That's a lot of goals.
A lot of goals. Ellie Klugel had 116 goals and 16 assists. Also 132 draw controls. She's ridiculous. Back-to-back state titles.
You got to go with the state champion.
You got to.
Yeah.
Ellie Klugel, 116 goals. Both of them had 300 goals plus in their career.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous. But they finished 1 and 2. Ellie, Elizabeth Murphy, ridiculous, both of them. We had best duo on the girls' side, Elizabeth Murphy, Paige Richborg, unbelievable. Paige Richborg was 89 goals and 52 assists.
Sounds like that wasn't a very hard decision.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, they're ridiculous. So, and best student section, the Cavalry had to win, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're football, basketball, lacrosse. They're the best, hands down, all year round. So
yeah, I like their basketball environment.
They're great.
What they do in that gym is
amazing.
Pretty cool.
It's amazing.
I got a front row seat to that, unfortunately, for a number of years, but I really enjoyed being there. I mean, we would never leave happy, but it was an exciting environment.
Always.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
They're tremendous. They go out for everything. They're tremendous. They were like packed 9:30 in the morning for the state title game. Packed.
Is that right?
Probably not happy about it being 9:30 in the morning for the 6A state title game, but
you know what though? You're in the state championship. The way you can get it. I had one in 09 at 11 a.m. So try getting a bunch of kids up at 8:30 a.m. to have breakfast to get to a stadium. So.
Moving forward a little bit. Tough season last year.
Yeah.
What did you want to do as a coach? Obviously there's a ton of work and a ton of workouts for players and things like that, but what did you want to do as a coach to get better as a coach in the off season? What did you want to do?
Well, I wanted to have a more positive attitude about the job itself. I mean, I had never gone through professionally a year like I had gone through last year, and this, will be my 14th season as a head coach. And, when you're in a game long enough, it happens to everybody at some point. So it's about the resiliency on my approach to my attitude. We have a really good group of kids coming back. Not a ton, but a good core. We got some youth that'll be inexperienced that does have talent, and they're working hard.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to just enjoy them. I wanted to enjoy the position I'm in. I feel very lucky to have the opportunity still to do it. And I wanted there to be an infusion of better energy. So I had to change my viewpoint of things. Like, it's not as bad as it seems. It never really is.
Right.
It's never as good as you think it is. And when it's good, and it's never as bad as you think it is when it's bad. So I just have tried to be extra committed. So I'm attending every single thing I can. Okay. I want to be there for the kids. I want them to have good energy and vibes. I want them to be in it together, working hard. And I changed some things around as far as the structure of what we've done. I don't take a lot of things personally anymore, I think, as much as I used to necessarily. And that has resulted, I think, in more kids. I turned the staff over a little bit for good reasons. I mean, I think everybody that transitioned both in and out did so for the right reason. And I think having new voices will help, at least in my position in particular. And so my hope is, with this new wave of kids coming through, that the core that I had from last year are hungry. Because, the kids we have coming back, even the older ones, weren't a huge part of the playoff teams we had prior to the year before. We've kind of turned over that element. So, I'm hoping they're hungry, and I hope they work together to make it a good experience. How many games we'll win, I don't know. Our schedule has changed. I think that has infused a little bit of energy as well. So I just think the change in general has kind of shaken things up, and it's helped my attitude, and I will hopefully, impart that on the kids.
Good. You talked about the staff shakeup. It's actually, I'm glad you brought it up because it's something I wanted to ask you.
I'm sure.
No, not just about West Springfield, but in general. Let's say I'm a coach, and I'm at a high school in the area. What is the process for hiring a staff? Like, is that fully my decision? Is that something that you work with the athletic director on?
That's a good question. I think that's a school by school thing. I can tell you right now, my boss is hands off.
Okay.
He does want to meet people I hire. That is the thing for him, which is fair. Yeah. And he wants to be a part of the process of getting into the county system and that kind of thing. He has to be. He has to got to sign off on things. But there is a procedure to hire coaches in the county. You can submit your requests through the county system, and then that can be advertised online. Okay. You have to do that for head positions of programs. Okay, that's a state and county regulated thing. Internally, as far as the way you staff your program, that's up to the coach. I mean, if a coach is having a hard time finding a quality candidate for their position, they should probably go through those channels to advertise and market. Right. Thankfully, I've never had to do that. I go and I search out the people I want. I, have discussions. I try to, I know what I'm looking for. And generally speaking, there's a specific kind of coach that works for every head coach and his personality and what he wants to do. So you kind of know what you're looking for. In addition to the whole, you need to have a passion for kids, love the game, that kind of stuff, be committed. So I go and I look for those people, and then I interview collectively. I start with my leadership positions within the staff, and then I have my leadership help me hire the positions below that. All right. That's me. I don't think everybody does it like that. I'll be honest. I think some, because I want my coordinators to have a hand in who they're going to be working for and with, and who's going to be working under them. But some people, and I've seen some athletic directors, and I've worked with some as well, that need to be a major part in everybody that's hired. Gotcha. And so they will play a part in the advertisement, the interview process, and the decision making. So I think it just all depends on what your situation is and where the school is. Ideally, continuity is the best thing. Yeah. But sometimes, Rob, you get personalities that their interaction and collaboration runs its course. Right. And you got to just kind of part and try different things. In addition to the fact that sometimes people need change just to shake their own system up. I mean, sometimes even as a head coach, changing where you work and who you work with helps rejuvenate your energy, like I was speaking to before. And, then there's that professional aspect to it where there's a lot of assistants out there that aspire to be a head coach. So they're going to go and make decisions in the interest of their own progression.
Right.
So I know that's a long answer.
In a nutshell.
But in a nutshell, yeah.
It's just, I don't know, I think about stupid things sometimes.
Well, no, it's part of your job, Rob. And plus, we've had a little bit of sudden turnover, right? As you will probably allude to here very shortly.
Yeah.
And so you got to wonder why those things happen. And then, to be honest, in a public education setting as well, if you aren't cutting it, understand this job doesn't pay our bills. So if you aren't cutting it at the meat and potatoes of what you do as a profession, or you break a regulation of some sort, then that's why they're on year-to-year contracts, so that you can be removed quickly.
And that's all right. You said it good. The year-to-year contracts thing. I don't think a lot of parents realize it.
They don't understand that. No.
And I don't think a lot of people in general realize how difficult that part of it is. I mean, you're constantly auditioning for your job.
That is correct. It's a privilege, in my opinion, to have this job, and it's not one that I take for granted, and nor should anybody.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. I think with the 1 year thing, you just have to be mindful that, you are constantly in a position to be replaced.
Yeah.
So and there's a lot of people that want your job. It's because they don't necessarily understand everything that goes on with it, and they think the glamour of it is so awesome. But to be fair to that, I mean, they give the leverage to administration to make changes immediately when it comes to this kind of thing, which is ironic because in the other side of it, as a teacher, if you're a seasoned teacher that's been in the system for a while, I mean, it's going to take you moving mountains to get rid of them if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
it's pretty ironic. If you ask me.
No,
it's one of the great ironies of
I will say that the opinions over on this side are not reflective of the.
Yeah, they're mine. They're not
I was trying to get you off of that. There you go. Just throw yourself back in there.
It's okay, man.
You guys, look, coaches. Again, I don't think people understand that aspect of it and how difficult that is, because while teaching is your job,
right,
coaching is also your job, and it takes up a lot of your time.
It's a commitment, and if you don't think it is, don't do this.
Right. And there's a lot of parents that are involved with schools who are quick to want to get rid of somebody, and it's not a knock. It's human nature. It's what happens. You see things go on.
But that's only because of the personal agendas that surround those situations.
Right.
Good or bad. I'm not saying any parent position is bad. Some are good, but it's probably surrounding something personal with your child. I mean, or else why are you involved?
And I have also seen the other side of it where I've witnessed the other side of it where it is, there's parents, there's boosters who have a lot of say in what goes on in an athletic department, and it can be trouble.
Absolutely.
I mean, it can be trouble, and that's something that I don't think people realize either. Is that, I mean, there's coaches that get fired because of
non-sports related things. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a shame, and the unfortunate part about it, and this is for everybody to understand as well, is that because you're in a little bit of a public domain, that gets blasted all over the place, where John Smith, who's the accountant at your local company, if something happens and he gets removed, nobody will ever know except for the 6 people that work in that office. Right. In this situation, you're in a newspaper, and news traditionally, not always, but tends to veer towards the negative side because that's what sells. So now it's a negatively painted picture of a situation that really shouldn't be at all, particularly with people that dedicate their life to these kids and communities at some points.
Exactly. They ain't doing it for the money.
No.
They ain't doing it for the money.
No, coaching wouldn't pay 1 month of bills for me. Not one.
No.
So, yeah.
You all are dedicated to the kids, the program, and I think that gets overlooked a lot. That's it. What are you going to
We're philanthropists in a way.
I'm not going that far, but I will say
That was
it is frustrating. It gets watching things go down. Sometimes it gets frustrating. I mean, I've seen things between parents and coaches that it's amazing to witness. You talked about the turnover in the area. There's a lot of jobs that have been open, been filled. I mean, Chantilly's got a new coach. Lake Braddock, Woodson, Battlefield, McLean. There's a lot of stuff. Now, obviously, there's a tragic situation in Madison. There's
Who knows how that's going to be?
Who knows how that's going to? That's a lot of.
By the way, our community, the Springfield community, really reached out to Vienna and all those people that are connected to that program. He was a great guy.
Great.
Had a perfectly level head.
Yeah.
Intelligent. Always came to bat for his kids. And every meeting I ever sat in with him, he was always the first person speaking up on Madison's kids' behalf. And we lost a really solid member of our organization in this association that we have in our county. And it's very sad and tragic. And so, if there's anything we can do for the Madison community, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And you talk to him for 3 seconds and you see the kind of passion he had for
very
the kids.
Stoic. Totally.
Yeah. Great guy, great coach. Yeah. Great to that program. And turn things around there.
Absolutely.
Turn things
100%.
around there. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, shoot, we were happy those teams were now in the other region. Well, that's probably for a later discussion, but yeah.
We talk about transitions, and you mentioned a little bit about the regional shakeup, but let's talk about that. Some of the realignment stuff that's gone on. One, are you a fan? And two, what kind of difference does it make for West Springfield?
Well, I'll be honest. I am glad that the Eastern Prince William County schools are now involved. I think it was a mistake. Yeah. To be sending them into a region where they were traveling, shoot all the way down sometimes to
that's ridiculous.
The corners of the state, right? So in that end of the spectrum, I'm happy for that. It's a little sad that we separate Springfield from Springfield perspective with like the Concord and the Liberty. And I think, the one thing we have going for us is, Fairfax County has set up a scheduling structure where it will keep us playing together, even though that we're in a regional now. But it was kind of nice to see teams come up through the years on one end of the county and the other, and it was like, which team's going to reign supreme on the western end or eastern end. Now it's the only chance we'll get ever to see that is maybe in a state playoff situation, which hopefully will come to fruition sooner rather than later. I think for us, we're probably going to stick to the way we go about, at least while I'm here, acquiring other teams to play on our schedule. The irony of the region split up is we actually have 4 technically non-conference games that are out of our region. Yeah. If you consider Lee, because they're a Division 5.
Right.
From that end of it, I think that's going to be different. I don't know how it's going to impact schools like Fairfax, who are now jumping from one region to the next.
And it's going to be tough.
I got to tell you, and this is just my opinion, but I think that other region has a more top-heavy conglomerate of schools. You got your Westfield, South Lakes, that's super emerging. Anybody from the Concord, Centerville, any of those guys can come up. Yeah. But I think as a whole, when you look at our region, with the Braddock, South County, Robinson now, who switches over. And then you go into Prince William, and you got Hilton, and you got some of these other schools, and then you got the West Poe, Hayfield situation. I think it's going to be deeper on our side. But which is going to make for a better tournament,
Right.
in my opinion. At least from what it looks like on paper heading into this year. So I think that's going to be an interesting shakeup. Maybe over time, what happens if they keep this structure is that the one region sort of separates from the other region. I hope that doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. Where Westfield will never play a TC Williams again. Because they're so opposite. But again, that's an Alexandria team that doesn't lump in necessarily with the Fairfax County system structure, right? So it should be interesting.
It is going to be
different.
It is going to be
different for guys like you too, because now you're covering a completely different thing. Region to region. Right.
But you know what? I want to see the Hiltons, and I want to see them play some of the.
That's what you're interested in. And they should.
Yeah, I want to see Ricky Slade play anytime I can.
So, I got you. How about Prince William? Stop playing just yourselves. Okay, come on over and let's play some other people.
And that's one of the things I really like. That's one of the things I really like about some of the Loudon schools is like Tuscarora. They go play anybody.
Right. That's right.
Stonebridge. They play everybody.
Tell me about
it. Sorry, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
You just got to bring up old stuff all the time.
It was possibly the best thing you told me.
I'm going to go home and kick my dog now. No, I'm just kidding.
It was possibly the best thing you told me last year about that defensive tackle.
Oh, my God. What, the peanut butter jar?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And he was a freak.
Yep. Sure is. And I think he's back, isn't he? I think he's a senior.
No.
Yep. Keep your eye on that guy.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. They had a tough loss in the state title game.
I'm so sad for them.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're broken up about it.
And I like Coach Thompson. He is an awesome coach, by the way. So, good dude, does the right thing. Yep.
Oh, he's great. There is no lack of talent.
Nope.
Around there. There is no lack of talent.
No, that's a direct result of his work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since that school's open.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
They're ridiculous. Your schedule a little bit. I mean, Lee, Oakton, W&L, Westfield, McLean, Fairfax. Apparently, no matter what, you can't get rid of South County. They're still there. Woodson, Lake Braddock, Robinson. Obviously, you got to have the Lake Braddock and Robinson games.
Great.
For me.
Yeah. We should. I mean, we're all like 3 miles apart. We should be playing each other. I mean, that makes sense.
And the first half of you know what? I shouldn't even bring it up.
Great.
The first half of the South County game with them last year was possibly the best half of football that I saw last year. It was awesome.
Yeah, but let's not talk about the second half.
That's why I just said first half. That's why I stuck with the first half. We'll move away from that completely. And just a couple of things to finish up from the year. So went over the best student section. Woodson, best high school spring sports school in the area. Got to be Riverside. 2 state title winners. 2 finished second in the state. I mean, that's
shout out to Oakton though, who I think they had like 3 teams go to state finals or something. They were great. Softball, soccer, I don't know. Something like that. Lacrosse. Well, lacrosse went to like lacrosse Final Four. Baseball. That was it. Yep. Yeah. And then another one too.
Yeah,
they did well. Yeah,
and there's so many sports in the spring. It's crazy.
Right.
The top school of the year can't really go against Woodson bringing home the basketball and
the boys lacrosse. Yeah, totally.
And their girls lacrosse team, I fully expected to be in the state title. They hit 1 loss, and it was just at the wrong time of the year. But they were really good. The best atmosphere of a game, kid you not. Patriot High School, Battlefield, Patriot basketball game.
Oh, basketball.
The football game was great. The basketball game was a more packed gym than I saw all year anywhere.
Wow.
It was out of control.
Patriots got a big gym. Was it at Patriot?
It was at Patriot.
They got a decent-sized gym. So for that to be packed.
It was about good. 6 deep standing on the side.
Wow.
It was people everywhere. It was awesome.
Was it the championship? Was it
No.
It was just a regular season?
It was the last regular season game against them. It was awesome. It was a doubleheader. And it went like the JV game went long, so the girls' game started late. Mm-hmm. So and the girls' game ran long.
So the boys' crowd came filling in for the girls.
Packed.
Yeah.
It had,
and I bet all the girls' crowd stayed for the boys, right? Why would they not do that?
Yeah, and it was very good. And one of my pet peeves is the lack of support that girls sports gets, but that game was awesome. Those girls, I'm sure, never played in front of a crowd that enormous. It was crazy. Best game, I know if John was here, he would definitely say the state title game. Westfield, Oscar Smith game, overtime again. It's ridiculous.
How about Oscar Smith losing 2? Did they lose in overtime?
Yeah.
So 2 straight year losses in overtime. That's Nightmare City, man. I'm sorry. And shout out to Oscar Smith. I mean, it takes a special situation to get to back-to-back championships.
Yeah.
I can personally say that. To come out of that with 2 overtime losses, I'm not sure I'd ever sleep again.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
All the different things as a coach that you feel
you're
like
going to sit there and go, and it
correct
was in overtime.
You dissect it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they had that dude. That quarterback was a freak.
Yeah.
It's going to William and Mary, I think.
Right.
Basketball, probably the state title game there too.
Woodson.
Woodson Hilton. It was a great game, back and forth the whole way. Jason Egner was just absurd, though. Lacrosse side, Robinson, Oakton in the regular season. Oakton wins sudden death 9-8, I think it was. That game was great. It was 8-5 with 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
Robinson was up, or
no? Oakton was up 8-5. 3 goals in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Yeah. It was absurd. Nick Roulette was.
I learned about lacrosse though, and I learned just this year how important the face-off is. Keeping possession of the ball. I mean, you could get a team throughout a whole game, and they could never get the ball.
No, and
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
That's how they scored back-to-back goals.
So they went, they got the thing, and they scored, and then they went, and they got
Nick Roulette, ridiculous on the face-off, just kept getting it.
Yeah, that's to me. I mean, that and the goalie. I mean,
that's it.
In that sport, obviously you need guys that can move, but I mean, if you don't get the ball, what difference does it make if you have stick handle?
Trouble.
Right.
Trouble. The Courage Award. There's two things I have. The Courage Award, it has to go Kyle Gunther and Kate Mulvenon. Kyle Gunther from Patriot, lacrosse player. Kate Mulvenon from Robinson, lacrosse player. Torn ACLs on both of them. Senior year, decided to forego the surgery until after the season. Played all year, both of them.
Wow.
Torn ACLs. Ridiculous.
You know what? Good for them.
Ridiculous.
I have a lot of respect for that.
And Patriot was undefeated all regular season. They had a loss. They had a loss to Oakton and a loss to Woodson, I think, in the playoffs, and that knocked them out. But great year all year round. Kyle Gunther was tremendous with that. Kate Mulvenon, 3rd state title in a row.
Yep.
Kate, we want the knee brace. We want her knee brace. We're gonna have it bronzed and put in the studio. So it's awesome. Our 2017 favorite player, our Rebel of the Year, gotta go to Daniel Adu.
Really?
Gotta be Daniel Adu.
Good for Daniel. All right.
Love that dude. Love everything he's about. Love the work he put in. And he's doing it, seeing it. Yeah, he's seeing it.
Already enrolled. Let's go.
Absolutely. It's awesome. I can't wait to see what he does on the next level, I think.
Me too.
Thank you for coming in today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be on here. There will not be a weekly Springfield show this year. I'm going to say that right now. But I hope to see you guys.
We're going to cut that right out. We don't want anybody else dropping out after seeing that. We're going to cut that out.
It's like the Sports Illustrated curse.
Why are you going to do that?
It's not. It won't be that way.
It's John's fault.
It's
John's fault. I blame when he's not around. I blame everything on him. It's John's fault.
He's gonna come back on here and he's gonna say something to you now.
No, that's all right. If I'm out somewhere and people mention things that were said on the show, I'm always like, "Yeah, John told me to say it." He's taking the other side, so John told me to say it. So I blame him for all kinds of
John's at a funeral. Hope you're doing well, John. So he didn't really do anything.
Dridge making me look awful over here. You know what?
I like it. I'm making you work angry.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Washington Post. So we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Check out Run One Sports. Great guys.
Take it easy. Look, it's gonna make me look bad over there.